نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربي اشرح لي صدري يسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all in today's live session, and inshallah today's live session will be on Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 96 till 100, inshallah. So we are starting in a while. So we will start by reciting it first, inshallah, and then we will continue with the Tajweed breakdowns and Tajweed rules in every ayah, inshallah. So let's get started. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَاةٍ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا يَوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ لَوْ يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ وَمَا هُوَ بِمُزَحْزِحِهِ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ أَنْ يُعَمَّرَ وَاللَّهُ بَصِيرٌ بِمَا يعملون قل من كان عدوا لجبريل فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله مصدقا لما بين يديه وهدى وبشرى للمؤمنين من كان عدوا لله وملائكته ورسله وجبريل وميكال فإن الله عدو للكافرين ولقد أنزلنا إليك آيات بينات وما يكفر بها إلا الفاسقون أو كلما عاهدوا أحدا نبذه فريق منهم بل أكثرهم لا يؤمنون. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَاةٍ. So this sign is giving you the option. If you're pausing here, then you have to continue reading here. But if you're pausing here, then you have to continue reading here. So you have to choose between one, which place you want to continue reading and which you have to pause. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ على حياة ومن الذين أشركوا يود أحدهم لو يعمر ألف سنة وما هو بمزحزحه. So one ha is from the halak and the other one is from the bottom part of the throat. بمزحزحه بمزحزحه من العذاب أن يؤمر والله بصير بما يعملون قل من كان عدوا لجبريل فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله مصدقا لما بين يديه وهدى وبشرى للمؤمنين من كان عدوا لله وملائكته ورسله وجبريل وميكال فإن الله عدو للكافرين ولقد أنزلنا إليك آيات بينات وما يكفر بها إلا الفاسقون أو كلما عاهدوا أحدا نبذه فريق منهم بل أكثرهم لا يؤمنون. Now we will do one more time recitation, and inshallah then we will look at the tajweed rules in each and every ayah. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَاةٍ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا يَوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ لَوْ يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ وما هو بمزحزحه من العذاب أن يؤمر والله بصير بما يعملون قل من كان عدوا لجبريل فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله مصدقا لما بين يديه وهدى وبشرى للمؤمنين من كان عدوا لله وملائكته ورسله وجبريل وميكال فإن الله عدو للكافرين ولقد أنزلنا إليك آيات بينات وما يكفر بها إلا الفاسقون أَوَكُلَّمَا عَاهَدُوا عَهْدًا نَبَذَهُ فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ بَلْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Inshallah, we will see the spellings as well as the tajweed rules in every ayah, inshallah. So from here we will be starting. This is ayah 96 of Surah Al-Baqarah. So first word is وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ. These signs which you see on top and at the bottom, these are called harkat, meaning movements, or these are also called the vowels. So these gives the sound to the letters. Okay, for example, waw fatha wa, lam fatha la. So we never read them by stretching. So you have to read all these simply. But here you see that noon is having shadda, so you will do ghunna. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَاةٍ. واو فتح وا، لام فتح لا، ولا تا فتح تا، ولا تا جيم كسرة جي، ولا تجي دال نون فتح دن، نون فتح نا، دن. So you have to hold the noon sound here in order to do nasalization. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ ha mim dama hum. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ. Hamza, ha, fatah. Ha is from the middle of the throat. Ra is heavy because of having fatha on the top. Ahra, ahra. Sod is heavy because it's from the heavy letters, musta'aliya letters. Okay. Remember, Ra is not from the musta'aliya letters, but under certain conditions we read it heavy or sometimes light. But the musta'aliya or the heavy letters are such we read them heavy under any condition. Okay. So ahrasan nasi, sod noon fatah son, noon alifatana, sonna, ahrasanna, sin kasra si, ahrasan nasi. Ra heavy, swad heavy, noon is having nasalization. So we will hold the noon sound. Ahrasan nasi, noon alifatana. So here this alif is madda. What are the madda letters? The word mad itself means to stretch. So madda letters are such letters which we read by stretching up to one alif. And they have specific patterns. So whenever you see there is a fatha before alif, then you have to stretch such alif. Ahrasan nasi ala hayah, ala hayah. Ain is from the middle of the throat. So ain fatha, lam is having vertical fatha. We have to read by stretching it. Ala hayah. Ha is again from the middle of the throat. So pronunciation place for ain and ha are exactly same, which is the middle of the throat. Ya, vertical fatha, ya, haya, and ta. Because we are pausing here, we are dropping the dots as well as the harka from this, and it will give us ha, simple ha. Haya. أحرص الناس على حياة ومن الذين أشركوا يود. We have paused here, so we will not be pausing here. This is, you have to choose one place. If you see these three dots on top of Jim, so you have to choose one place. Either you can pause here or here. Okay, so we have paused here. Here we will read in continuation. Ashraku yawaddu. Waw fatawa mim kasra mi, wa mi noon lam fatanal, wa minal lam fatala, wa minal. Dhal ya kasra dhi, wa minal ladhi noon fatha na, wa minal ladhina. Hamza shin fatha ashra fatara, ashra. Kaf wa damaku ashraku, wa minal ladhina ashraku, wa minal ladhina ashraku. Now, you have observed I have stretched here the and the word ku. So I was telling you about the madda letters. What are the madda letters? The letters which we read by stretching them up to one alif. And there are specific patterns. So for alif to be madda, there should be a fatha before it. For ya, sakin. Okay, ya need to be sakin, static. Okay, silent. It's not like English silent where you exclude the letter. In English, silent means like you don't read it in reading. Okay, but in Arabic, silent letters are the letters which are paused. Their sounds are paused. They're existing and they're dependent on the previous letter. So here we are saying وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ. We are reading ya. Okay, but we are not reading any haraka on top of it. So ya sakin, if you see there is a kasra before it, this is madda here now. You have to read it by stretching up to one alif. And same goes with ashraku, this waw sakin. Before waw sakin, if you see there is a dama, then this waw is madda. So in both situation here and here, you have to read by stretching them up to one alif. Okay. Jazakallah. May Allah reward you also for listening and learning, inshallah. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَاةٍ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا يَوَدُّ. So wherever you see this shadda sign, you have to read by emphasizing on that letter or by stressing extra. Otherwise, you will end up saying the letter once. We have to read it twice. Yawaddu. Ya fataya, Waw, dal, fatha wad, dal the madu. Yawaddu. Okay. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَةٍ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا يَوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ لَوْ يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ. Let's see now in the next line what are the rules. Alif is called Hamza whenever it's having any sign. So here Alif is having Fatha, so we will say Hamza Fatha A. Ha Fatha Ha. Aha Dal Damadu. Ahadu Ha Mim Damahum. Ahaduhum. 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 Law yu'ammaru. Lam Waw Fatha Law. Now, here before waw sakin, we don't have kasra, otherwise it will be madda. But there is a fatha. So if you see this situation, now waw is lean here. Lean letters are such letters which we read gently without stretching them or without suddenly pausing them. Okay, like quickly. Law. Yu'ammaru. Ya dama yu. Ain is from the middle of the throat. So if you see the pronunciation of Ain, you will see our throat is divided into three parts on the basis of pronunciation of the letters. So there is a lower part of the throat, middle part of the throat, and upper part of the throat. So exactly from the middle part of the throat, two letters are pronounced, Ain and this Ha. Okay, so Ain is a big squeezing sound. If you say Ain, like Yu'ammaru, it will get replaced with the Hamza sound and it will be Lahne Jali. Okay, Lahne Jali are the such mistakes which can change the meaning of Quranic words. So we have to learn the proper pronunciation of Ain so we don't make mistakes. Yu'ammaru, Ain from the middle of the throat. Yu'am. Okay, Ain, Mim Fatha Am, Mim Fatha Ma. Yu'ammaru. Here we have hold this meme sound also in order to pronounce it with a nasalization or a gunna, because whenever you see there is a shadda sign on top of meme, you have to do nasalization. Same goes with the noon. Okay, this is easy to remember. If you want me to break down this rule, let me know and I will inshallah do that. But if you want to remember it simply, you have to remember whenever you see this W sign on top of meme and noon. Okay, you have to hold the sound, you have to do nasalization or gunna in the sound. Yu'ammaru, yu'ammaru. Ra is heavy because it's having dama on the top. Alfa, hamza, lam fata al, fa fata fa, alfa, sin fata sa, nun fata na, sana. And here the jim we see, so we can pause or we can continue. Both situations are right. But I prefer to pause here. So I will make this ta marbuta ha. The dots as well as the harka will get removed and it will give us ha. Sana, sana, alfa, sana. Let's see again. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَةٍ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا يَوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ لَوْ يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَةٍ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا يَوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ لَوْ يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ. Next line is وَمَا هُوَ بِمُزَحْزِحِهِ بِمُزَحْزِحِهِ. So I will come to this point inshallah. مِنَ الْعَذَابِ أَنْ يُعَمَّرْ. Waw fatha wa, mim alif fatha ma. Why we are reading this alif? Because we have to look for the same pattern. If there is a fatha before alif, then this alif is madda. And we read madda letters by stretching them up to one alif. Okay, so you have to say wama, wama. Hadamahu wa fatawa, huwa, wama huwa. Ba kasra bi, mim damamu, bimu, za, ha, fata, zah. So this ha, same like ain, is from the middle of the throat. Okay, so this is ha. In order to pronounce it correctly, You have to open your mouth wide and try to exhale the air out. بمزح بمزح زحه. So this in two, there are two has in this word. One ha is from the middle of the throat and one from the bottom of the throat. Okay. وما هو بمزحزحه من العذاب. ميم كسرة مي، نون لام فتى نل، من العين فتى ع، من الع، ذال ألف فتى ذا، من العذا با كسرة بي. We have to be very careful with the dhal pronunciation, okay, because if we say azabi, it will be this za, not dhal. So in order to pronounce dhal, you have to touch your tip of the tongue with the inner edges of top to front teeth. Okay, you have to touch the tip of your tongue with the inner edges of your top to front teeth. You have to say minal adhabi by suppressing this za sound. Okay, if you say bimuzah zi hihi, but if you say adhabi, you can see there are difference in pronunciation. So there is a clear difference in pronunciation of za and dhal. Okay, there is a buzz sound in this bimuzahzihihi, but here there is no airflow. Min al adhabi, dhabi. Okay, ayn yu'ammar, hamza ya fata ayn ya dama yu, ayu ayn min fata am min fata ma amma and ra sakin. So let's see what is the rule here. So in the word ayn yu'ammar, after noon sakin, you see there is letter ya. Okay. So if you see ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, and noon after noon sakin or tanween, okay, these are yarmalun letters. You have to do gunna with merging, and sometimes you have to just merge and there will be no nasalization. So in this case, you have to do merging, which is idgham, as well as you have to do gunna. Okay, what is idgham? Idgham is merging the sounds. So you have to merge here by doing nasalization or gunna. So you have to say ay yu'ammar, ay yu'ammar, hamza ya fata ayn ya dama ya dama you, ayn you, ayn min fata am min fata ma. You have to hold this sound by doing gunna here. Ay yu'ammar, mar, ra is sakin. Why we are making ra sakin? Because the sentence is completed here, or there is a sign of pause, you can say. Okay, one thing is completed and then other thing is started. So what you have to do here, when you're making the ra sakin, and if there is a fatha before it, then this ra will be heavy. If there is a fatha on it, it's still heavy. If you're pausing and there is a fatha before it, in this case ra is heavy as well. An yu'ammar, wallahu basirum bima. Very important rule in the word Allah. Let's see what is this rule. So in the word Allah, specifically I'm speaking about the word Allah. You see this lam. There is a lam, okay? Before this letter lam, if you see there is a fatha, you will make it heavy. If you see there is a dhamma, again heavy. But if there is a kasra before this letter lam in the word Allah, you will make it light. Okay, so here you have to say wallahu. If you say wallahu, this will be wrong pronunciation. Wallahu, wallahu. So I'm making this lam heavy because there is a fatha before it. Okay, so we have this lam and these two lams. So which one we are reading? These ones. This one is not functional here, or you can say we are not reading this alif also. Waw, lam fatha wal, lam vertical fatha la, wallah, hadamahu, wallahu. And this rule of making lam heavy is only specified to this, is for the word Allah. If you see the lam anywhere else than in this word, you will always make it light. Okay, but in the word Allah, lam sometimes is heavy, sometimes light. It depends what's before it. So if there is a fatha before it, you will make it heavy. If there is a dhamma before it, again heavy. But if there is a kasra before it, then you will make this lam light. So here we have fatha, so we have to read wallahu, wallahu basirum bima. ba fatha ba, sod ya kasra si, basi, ra mim to dama rum, ba kasra bi, mim alif fatha ma, basirum bima. So when it comes to this sod, sod is from the heavy letters or musta'aliya letters which we read heavy under every condition. So here kasra doesn't affect its pronunciation. So we have to say basirum, basirum, sod heavy, ya stretch because ya is madda. And after tanween or noon sakin, if you see letter ba, you will replace their sound with meme. This rule is called iqlab. Iqlab means to change. Basirum bima. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَاةٍ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا يَوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ لَوْ يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ وَمَا هُوَ بِمُزَحْزِحِهِ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ أَنْ يُعَمَّرَ وَاللَّهُ بَصِيرٌ بِمَا يعملون. Ya ain fatah, ya mim fatah ma, ya'ma lam waw damalu and nun sakin. Ya'malun. Again we have ain, and the pronunciation of ain is from the middle of the throat. So you have to read ya'ma, ya'malun. And here I have stretched up to 3 alif, because I have applied the rule of madde arid lissakun. What is this rule? So whenever you see that the I is completing, you have to drop the harkas from the last letter. You make it silent. And if you see that your second last letter is your madda letter, okay, madda letters are the letters which we read by stretching up to 1 alif. So here we have waw sakin, and before waw sakin there is a dhamma, which makes this waw madda. Okay, specific pattern. Wherever waw is sakin, having sukoon, and you see the dhamma before it, then waw is sakin. So here we have waw sakina, and before that is the dhamma. So waw is madda. The madda letters are the one which we read by stretching up to 1 alif. And soon after that, we have to pause and we have to make this noon silent by ourselves. Instead of saying ya'maluna, we have to say ya'malun. So if we are making the last letter silent and our second last letter is our madda letter, then we have option to stretch it up to 1 or 2.5 or 3 alif. And the best practice is to stretch it up to 3 alif. Okay, ya'malun, like this. And this stretching is because of madde arid lissakun rule. Okay, madde arid is temporary mad, temporary stretch in order to pause. Next ayah is قُلْ مَنْ كَانَ عَدُوًّا لِجِبْرِيلَ فَإِنَّهُ نَزَّلَهُ عَلَى قَلْبِكَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ وَهُدًى وَبُشْرًى لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Let's see the rules in this ayah. So first word is قُلْ. قُلْ, qaf is heavy. Qul means to say. If you read it kul with a light kaf, the meaning will be to eat. So make sure that you read this qaf having dots heavy. Qul, qaf lam dama qul. Mim noon fatha man. But here I have hidden this noon sound. Ma kana, ma kana. Qul ma kana. This rule is called ikhfa. Ikhfa means to hide the sound of noon sakin or tanween if you see ikhfa letters after that. Okay, so here kaf is from the ikhfa letters. There are 15 letters which are called ikhfa letters. If you see after noon sakin or tanween, you have to hide noon sakin or tanween sound. So I have hidden the sound by saying ma kana, ma kana. Kaf alif fatha ka, noon fatha na, kana. Ain fatha, dal, waw damadu, adu, waw to fatha, lam, wal, adu, wal. So ain is from the middle of the throat, and what's happening here, after 2 fathas, you see there is letter lam. Lam is from the yarmalun letters. So if you see this rule is called idgham, but without gunna. You will just merge the sounds and you will not do any nasalization and you have to continue reading. Aduwal li Jibrila. Lam kasra li, jim, ba kasra jib, ra ya kasra ri, lam fatala, li Jibrila, li Jibrila. Ba is from the qalqala letters. Qalqala letters are prominent when they are sakin or they're containing this sukun sign. So we have 5 letters of qalqala: qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal. So ba is from the qalqala letters, bouncing letters, or there will be echoing or reflection in the sound, you can say. But here we have weak qalqala because there are certain levels of qalqala, weak, strong, or strongest. So whenever you see the qalqala letters are sakin, but they are in between somewhere in the word like this, then the qalqala will be weak. Okay, but if our word is ending like this, walaqad, and qalqala letter is at the end and it's sakin, then it will be a strong qalqala. Okay, we will come to this inshallah. So here we have weak qalqala, li Jibrila. Ra, ya kasra ri, ya is madda because of having fatha before it. فَإِنَّهُ. So we have seen there is a shadda on noon. Hold the sound. فَإِنَّهُ. And ha is having inverted dhamma. This is not simple dhamma. Now these are the from the vertical harakat. So we will stretch it up to one alif in reading. فَإِنَّهُ نَزَّلَهُ. Nazza. You have to emphasize on za because of this shadda, so we can read it twice. If we say nazzalahu, it will be not correct because we have to read it twice. Nazza, nazzalahu ala. Noon, za fata, nazza fata, za, nazza, lam fata la, ha, inverted dhamma, hu, nazzalahu ala. Ain from the middle of the throat, and lam is having vertical fatha. So vertical fatha, vertical kasra, or inverted dhamma, these are your long harkat, long vowels. You have to stretch them in reading up to one alif. So you have to read here ala, ala, qalbika. Qaf, lam fatha qal, qaf is heavy, ba kasra bi, qalbi, kaf fatha ka, this kaf is light. Qalbika, qalbika. Although they both belongs from the same family, lahwiya letters. Okay, but this qaf is heavy and this is light. Qalbika bi'idhnillahi. Ba kasra bi, hamza, dhal kasra idh, bi'idh. Now you have to avoid the za pronunciation here, because if you say bi'iznillahi and if you don't control your tongue, then the letter will be pronounced like za. So in order to pronounce dhal correctly, you have to touch the tip of your tongue with the inner edges of your top 2 front teeth. Bi-idhni, tongue will be a little slight out and then it will be touching the inner edges of your top 2 front teeth. Bi-idhnillahi, by avoiding the za pronunciation. Bi-iz, bi-idh, idhnillahi. Qalbika, bi-idhnillahi. Ba kasra bi, hamza, dhal kasra idh, noon, lam kasra nil, bi-idhnil. Lam, vertical fatha, la, bi-idhnillah, ha kasra hi, bi-idhnillahi. Now, this lam is light here because we have a kasra before it. If there is a fatha or dhamma, we will read it heavy. And this rule is just specific for the word Allah. In word Allah, we read this lam heavy sometimes and sometimes light. It depends what's before it. If there is a kasra before it, it's light. If there is a fatha or dhamma, then it's heavy. For example, if it's bi'iznallahi or bi'idhnullahi, then this is heavy. But there is a kasra, so bi'idhnillahi. Musaddiqan lima. Mim dhamma mu, sod, dal fatha, sad, musad. Now, when you say the letter seen, observe that your lips are spreading more, okay? But when you say the letter sod, they are a little bit rounded. So when you're saying the letter sod, you have to keep your lips rounded, never stretch them. Otherwise, you will end up reading the letter seen instead of sod. And replacing a letter like this will lead us to lahne jali, which are the clear mistakes and they can change the meaning of Quranic words. So we have to avoid these mistakes at any cost and we have to learn the correct pronunciation. So you have to say here musaddiqan lima. Swad is from the heavy letters, musta'aliya letters, so this is heavy. And qaf is also from the musta'aliya letters, so kaf is also heavy. قلبك بإذن الله مصدقا لما. Kaf to fatha, lam qal, lam kasra li, mim alifata ma, musaddiqan lima. Now after tanween, if you see letter lam, you will just do the idgham without gunna. What is idgham? Idgham means to merge the sounds. Okay, so here we will just do the merging, we will not do any nasalization. Musaddiqan lima. Ba ya fata bay, nun fatana, bayna, bayna. These letters like a bay, tai, sai, jai, these are lean letters. And when ya is becoming lean, whenever it's having sukun sign on top of it and there is a fatha before it. And lean means to read them gentle without stretching, without pausing them. So here ba, ya fatha bay, nun fatha na, bayna. Ya fatha ya, dal ya fatha day, yaday. Again ya is lean here. If you see, there is a specific pattern for it to become lean. Okay, there should be a fatha before it. Bayna yadayhi, yadayhi. Wahudan, waw fatha wa, hadama hu, wahu, dal, waw, two fatha, down. Now here, this merging, this idgham will be with gunna. This idgham, this merging was without gunna, but here we will merge as well as we will do gunna or nasalization. Okay, so we have to say wahudan wa bushra, wahudan, hudan wa bushra. So this stretch is because of doing nasalization here. Wahudan wa bushra, wahudan, waw fatha wa, ba, sheen, dama, bush, ra, vertical fatha, ra, bushra. Ra is having because of carrying, ra is heavy because of having this vertical fatha on top of it. Wabush ra, and this ya is extra. Most of the time you will see with the vertical harkat there are some letters like this, ya or alif, and even with the tanween of fatha like this you will see alif after it. So we don't read them in recitation, but these are just like a same like English silent letters where the letter you write but you don't say it in pronunciation. Like honorable, you start the spellings with h but you don't pronounce it. Similarly here, this is because the spellings are like this, but in reading we don't pronounce it. وَبُشْرَى لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Lam kasra lil, mim hamza dama mu, lil mu. Now here we are not reading waw but the hamza because this waw is not having any function, just it's carrying the hamza. Okay, and hamza is sakin, meaning it's having this small dal shaped tiny sign on top of it which make it silent. Okay, silent letters in Arabic are not like English silent letters where you just exclude the letter. Here the sound is paused, so we will read the letter, just the sound is paused. Lil mu'minin. And whenever you see this sukoon sign on top of hamza, you have to give it a sudden pause. Lil mu'minin. Lil mu'minin. If you say lil mu'minin, it will be wrong. So you have to give it a sudden pause. Lil mu'minin. Lam kasra lil, mim hamza dama mu, lil mu, mim kasra mi, noon ya kasra ni, lil mu'mini, and then noon sakin because we are pausing here. This is like our full stop, sentence is completed. So we will remove whatever is there on noon and we will make noon silent or sakina. Lil mu'minin. Now when you make the last letter silent and your second last letter is your madda letter, then you have three options. You can read it by stretching up to 1 or 2.5 or so the best is to stretch it up to 3 alif by applying the rule of madde arid lissakun. If you want to know what is madde arid lissakun, please let me know and I will explain it again. Lil mu'minin. قل من كان عدوا لجبريل فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله مصدقا لما بين يديه وهدى وبشرى للمؤمنين من كان من كان عدوا لله وملائكته ورسله وجبريل وميكال فإن الله عدو للكافرين من كان ميم نون فتح man, but I'm hiding the sound of the noon here by applying the rule of ikhfa. What is ikhfa? Ikhfa is hiding. If after noon sakin you see ikhfa letters. Ikhfa letters are the 15 letters, and if you see after noon sakin or tanween, you hide that noon sound. So instead of saying man kana, I'm saying man kana. Kaf alifataka noon fatana. Man kana. عدو عين فتحة دال واو دمة دو عدو واو لام to fatha wal عدو wal. So here will be idgham merging but without nasalization. So I will come to this inshallah. عدو wal lam lam kasra lil lam vertical fatha la lilla ha kasra hi عدو lillahi. Two vowels, two lams, and again two lam. So this shadda means that your letter is twice. So whenever you have to read such, you have to emphasize in order to read it twice. Otherwise, you will end up reading it once. So adu wal. After tanween, you see there is letter lam. So here you will do idgham, meaning merging without gunna. Okay. So after two fatha, two kasra, two dhamma or noon sakin, if you see any of the yarmaloon letters, what are the yarmaloon letters? Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Waw, and Noon. So in the letter Lam and Ra, you do idgham, meaning merging without gunna. And for all the other four, you will do merging with gunna. Okay, this rule is called idgham, merging. So here we will just merge it and we will not do any nasalization or gunna. And before this letter lam in the word Allah, we have kasra, so we will make it light. Lillahi. If there is a fatha or dhamma, we will make it heavy. Aduwwal lillahi wa malaikatihi. Waw fatha wa, mim fatha ma, wa ma, lam, vertical fatha, la, wa ma la, and there is a mad sign top of it. So this mad is after the vertical harakat which act also like a madda letter. If you see hamza in the same word, this is madde muttasil and you have to stretch it up to 2.5 alif. Wa malaikatihi. Hamza kasra I, ka fatha ka, ika, ta kasrati. Ha is having vertical kasra, so there will be 1 up to 1 alif stretch. Wa malaikatihi. This is 2.5 and this is 1. عدوا لله وملائكته ورسله. Never read it ورسوله. Some students are making this mistake. So this is ورسله. واو فتح وا را دمرو ورو sin damasu warusu lam kasra li ha vertical kasra hi warusulihi warusulihi. So just the vertical harka we will stretch, all other are simple. Wa rusulihi wa jibrila waw fatha wa jim ba kasra jib wa jib ra ya kasra ri wa jibri lam fatha la wa jibrila waw fatha wa jim ba kasra jib. Now here you see I said jib, so there is a echo or bounce, but it's not too much prominent because our bouncing letter or qalqala letter is in between the word. If it's in at the end like this and it's silent, then qalqala or bouncing will be more visible. Wajib reela. I stretch this ya because there is a kasra. Because of this kasra, this ya is madda here. Okay. Madda letters are such letters which we read by stretching them up to 1 alif. Wajib reela. Wa mikala. waw fatha wa, mim ya kasra mi, kaf vertical fatha ka, wa mi ka, lam fatha la, wa mi ka la. Fa inna Allah. Here noon is having shadda, so we have to read it by doing gunna in the sound. And before the letter lam in the word Allah, you see there is a fatha. So we will make this letter heavy. Fa inna Allah aduwwul lil kafirin. So here we have again idgham, but this time without gunna. Aduwwul lil kafirin. Just 1 second. Now, walaqad. Qaf is heavy, dal is having bouncing here, qalqala, and this qalqala is strong now because our word is ending with a qalqala letter and it's having sakoon. Walaqad anzalna ilayka, anzalna ilayka. So here we have noon. After noon sakin, you see there is letter za, which is from the ikhfa letters. So we will hide the noon sound. وَلَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ. And this alif we have to stretch up to 2.5 counts because there is a hamza after it, and this is madde munfasil. إِلَيْكَ آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ. آيَاتٍ tim. Now these are the vertical harakat, so we will stretch up to one alif, and in the word tim bayyinat, this rule is called iqlab. Iqlab means to replace the sound. So whenever you see after two fatha, two kasra, two dhamma or noon sakin letter ba, so what you do, you replace the sound of this tin, tan, tin, tun or noon sakin with the meme. So it's ayatim bayyinat. Because of this pause, I have removed the two fathas. Wama yakfuru biha. Alif is madda because there is a fatha before it, and in the word yakfuru, ra is heavy. Biha. Here after this alif as a madda, you see there is another alif which is hamza, so we have to stretch it 2.5 alif. Illa al-fasiqun, illa al-fasiqun. Ruksar and Yusra, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أَوَكُلَّمَا عَاهَدُوا عَهْدًا نَبَذَهُ فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ بَلْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. In the word إِلَّا الْفَاسِقُونَ, lam is twice because of the shadda, so you have to emphasize here. إِلَّا fa vertical fatha fa, illal fa sin kasra si, qaf wa qu. Qaf is heavy and noon sakin. So here you see waw is having sakoon, and before that you have dama. This waw is again madda here, and noon is sakin because we're pausing. So here we will apply the rule of madde arid lis sakoon, which is temporary mad, temporary stretch in order to pause. So the amount is 2.5 or 3 or 1. So it's best to stretch it up to 3 alif. Just 1 second and I will come to the next ayah. Next ayah is Awa kullama ahadu. Kullama ahadu. Ain is having vertical fatha, so we will stretch the sound, as well as Ain is from the middle of the throat. Ha is from the bottom of the throat, and the word do before waw sakin there is a dama. So again here waw is madda. If you want to know more about the madda letters, please comment below and inshallah I will explain. And if you want, you can also rewatch the video, and I have explained it in a very much detail in the beginning of our today's session. Awakullama ahadu. So you have to stretch them up to one alif. So here alif is madda because of having fatha before it, waw sakin, and there is a dhamma, so waw is madda. Ahadan nabadahu. after the tanween, you see there is letter noon. Okay, so here you will do the merging, which is idgham with gunna. عهدا نبذه عهدا نبذه فريق منهم فريق منهم. Same goes here, that after two damas, which is your tanween, you see the letter meme. Meme is from the Yarmulun family, noon is from the Yarmulun family. So here you will do merging, which is idgham with gunna in both places. عهدا نبذه فريق منهم بل أكثرهم لا يؤمنون. بل أكثر. If you say أكثرهم, so it will be wrong. So here there is a sa. Sa is from the tip of the tongue when it touches the inner edges of your top to front teeth. Same like letter zal. Okay. Aktha. If you say aksa, it will be wrong. It aktharuhum. Suppress the sin sound here. Aktharuhum la yu'minun. Ra is heavy because of having dama here, and in the word yu'minun, because Hamza is sakin, so we will give it a sudden pause. And here again the rule of madde arid lissakun, so stretch it up to 3 alif. Because if you have stretched here up to 3 alif and here you do 1, it will be wrong. So you have to keep all the amounts same. La yu'minun. One final recitation inshallah, and then I will meet you again 9 o'clock UK time today inshallah, and we will do 5 more ayahs in that session. وَلَتَجِدَنَّهُمْ أَحْرَصَ النَّاسِ عَلَى حَيَةٍ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا يَوَدُّ أَحَدُهُمْ لَوْ يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ وَمَا هُوَ بِمُزَحْزِحِهِ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ أَنْ يُعَمَّرَ وَاللَّهُ بَصِيرٌ بِمَا يَعْمَلُونَ قُلْ مَنْ كَانَ عَدُوًّا لِجِبْرِيلَ فَإِنَّهُ نَزَّلَهُ عَلَى قَلْبِكَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ وَهُدًى وَبُشْرًى لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ مَنْ كَانَ عَدُوًّا لِلَّهِ وَمَلَائِكَتِهِ وَرُسُلِهِ وَجِبْرِيلَ وَمِيكَالَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَدُوٌّ لِلْكَافِرِينَ وَلَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ وَمَا يَكْفُرُ بِهَا إِلَّا الْفَاسِقُونَ أَوَكُلَّمَا عَاهَدُوا عَهْدًا نَبَذَهُ فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ بَلْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Sadaqallahul Azim. So this is the end of our session. Inshallah, I will see you again today 9 p.m. UK time, and tomorrow 1 p.m. Inshallah again UK time, and we will do five more ayahs. So stay tuned and keep learning inshallah. I will try my best to guide you as much as I can so you can improve your tajweed through these live sessions. And if you want to know more about the rules, you can check some of the videos on my channel. So let's read the salawat on Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and with this we will end our session. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Keep learning inshallah. May Allah increase us in our knowledge of Quran, and inshallah if you have any questions you can ask anytime and I will inshallah get back to you. So see you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.